Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on how to reformat an external hard drive on a Mac OS X. And in this video tutorial, we'll be reformatting a 1TB external hard drive so that it works on both a Mac and a PC. If you are reformatting your external hard drive that previously had files and documents on it, then make sure that you back up any information that you want before reformatting. When you reformat an external hard drive, it wipes out all data that was on the external hard drive. Please pause this tutorial while you back up all important files that you want to keep. The first step to reformatting your external hard drive is to first plug it into your MacBook or your iMac. Second, with your cursor, you're going to want to open Disk Utilities by either going over to the Applications folder located on your dock and then scroll down to where it says Utilities, and then your Utilities folder should open. Now scroll down until you see Disk Utility. Now I don't have to scroll down that far on mine because Disk Utilities is towards the middle and shows up. If you were going to use the searchlight, then go up to the magnifying glass in your top right hand corner of your screen and select it with your left mouse button on your cursor. Now, in the Spotlight search bar, type in Disk Utilities. It should come up on the list under Applications or under Top Hit. Select one of the Disk Utilities with your left mouse button. Alright, now the Disk Utilities box should have opened. I want to maximize the screen so that way it's easier for you to see. With the Disk Utilities box now open, we can begin reformatting our external hard drive. In order to begin reformatting our external hard drive, with our cursor we need to go down and select the name that has the name brand of the external hard drive, not what you called the external hard drive. So you can see here that I called it Free Agent, which was the default name. However, you're not going to want to choose that one because you can't partition it. Now, if you select the 1.5 terabyte name with the name brand Seagate, then you're able to partition as well. This is what we're going to want to do. We want to partition the external hard drive. So when the partition button activates, select it with your left mouse button. You may need to wait a moment while your Mac changes over to the partition button. So once we click on the partition button, we will be taken to the partition tab. Over here is a white box indicating how many partitions are on your current external hard drive that is plugged in. Once we are in the partition box, the first step we do is go up to Volume Scheme and select how many partitions we want this external hard drive to have. What a partition is a section of your external hard drive that is dedicated to an exact amount of data that you allow it to use. So let's say that you have 3 users for this one particular external hard drive. Each user could have their own little section to store their data in. Now this data could be like 250 gigabytes each, or it just depends on how much you specify for each person on that external hard drive. Now if you have multiple users, you could still only have one partition. It just depends on your circumstances and your working conditions. So in this case, I want one partition because it's only me using this external hard drive. With our one partition selected, you can see over here now we're able to name, format, and indicate the size that we want this one partition to have. Like stated before, I said I want this one partition to have access to all the space on the external hard drive. I'm going to leave the file size at 1.50 terabytes. Please pause the tutorial if you are going to change the file size for a moment on yours. After we've indicated the file size, we can now go up to Format and select the format that we want this external hard drive to have. You can see here by default it selects Mac OS Extended Journaled. Now when this is selected, you can only use it on a Mac. It will only read and write to a Mac. However, if we want it to read and write from both a PC and a Mac, The best format that I've found that works the quickest is exFAT. Now you'll see in other tutorials that people use MS-DOS FAT or FreeSpace. However, I always like exFAT because it works on my Windows 7 PC, my Windows XP PC, and my Mac OS X. So in this case, I'm going to select the exFAT format with my left mouse button. You can see here that under Format, it should say exFAT. If it doesn't, please reselect the options again and select X format with your left mouse button. Alright, with our size and format selected, we can now choose a name for our external hard drive. Now you could be like some people and like to name their external hard drives certain names like Titanic, so that way when it's sinking, the computer will say the Titanic sinking, all that type of stuff. You can just name it whatever you want. But in my case, I'm going to name it Brett's 1.5 Oh, okay. So apparently you can't have a very long name on exFATs. So in this case, I'm going to just name it the default name of Free Agent. Oh, not all capitals. I wanted all capitals. Free Agent. Alright. Alright, with our name, our format, and our size indicated, we now go down to the Options button down here below the partition white box to select how the partition is going to work. Now, by default, it's on master boot record. This is for Windows or any computer that uses DOS. So, since I'm on an Apple that has an Intel processor, I'm going to choose the Guild partition table. However, if you're on a Mac that's a Power PC, then you're going to want to choose Apple partition map. So just select out of these three which one will work best for your workspace and your computers. For me, like stated before, I'm going to use the GUID partition table. So select the bubble with your left mouse button and then select OK down here in the lower right hand corner. Now with the GUID partition table selected, we now are able to apply this partition to our external hard drive. To activate this partition and all of its settings, all we have to do is go down to the Apply bubble in the bottom right hand corner of Disk Utilities box and select it with your left mouse button. Now Disk Utilities will want to double check with you to make sure that you really want to reformat and activate this partition on the external hard drive. If you do not want to activate this partition, then just select Cancel. However, if everything looks right and all the settings are correct, select Partition with your left mouse button. You can see down here where the cursor is indicated that Disk Utilities is now applying the partition and all of its settings. Please wait for this to take place. Sometimes if you have a large external hard drive, this applying does take up to like 5 minutes. So please just have patience and wait for the event to occur. After Disk Utilities is done applying your partitions and settings, then your external hard drive is ready to be used on both a Mac and a PC.